Welcome, Ohio. This is James Lewis of the Growing Truth Radio Network here with Landon Cassill of Starcom Racing. Landon, this is your second season with Starcom. So what have you learned so far with them?
Well, man, first, I think I've learned what kind of quality people there are at Starcom Fiber that started this race team, and the kind of business and that they run and the way they treat people. It's made me really, want to succeed for them and succeed for this team. And so, it makes me excited. It's definitely taught me more about the sport too and what it takes to start a small team.
Oh, definitely. I can imagine some of the trials and tribulations that starting up a new team, going through that must be quite vexing at times.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest challenge in our sport, obviously everybody talks about sponsorship and funding and things like that, but nobody really ever explains what that means or what you do with that money. I think that the real challenge is not just the components you buy, but the people that you hire and the ability to hire good people and pay them well and give them the job security they need to take risks and to work hard. And so, that's something that Starcom Fiber, I think, has done very well with their core business. And that's something that they're figuring out how to do on the NASCAR side. And so, that's kind of the challenge that you deal with on a weekly basis, really.
Yeah, like you're saying there, the consistency of it, obviously the spotter, the pit crew, those type of people that you need, the testers, something you can rely on week in and week out, obviously is very important. Have you been able to receive that with Starcom?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting there. I mean, we've, for a new team, I think we've accomplished a lot. I think that, for this team to go from nothing, no equipment, no people, no anything, to having a charter and building a new shop, have people in the organization like Todd Parrott, my new crew chief, Joe Williams. I mean, I think that that just shows that people that have been around the sport for a long time are starting to see how serious Starcom is, that we're here for the long haul. And that's really when you'll start seeing the fruits of our labor.
So how long has the new location in Salisbury, North Carolina been up?
Well, it's still kind of coming together. So we're moving our fab shop over there. Our administrative offices are already over there. And so I would say pretty soon here you'll see the rest of the shop and the assembly end up in our new building.
For Starcom, you've been around now. The company or the team has been around for 56 races. What do you feel is the biggest growth, the biggest improvement that the team has made?
I think that the biggest the best material growth that our team has seen is just the continuity in equipment, having a fleet of cars that are more consistent, and something that's predictable and easy for us to assemble as a team.
Speaking of that, you're driving the 00 this year?
Yes. Yep.
Excellent. With that, is there going to be some events where there's going to be the 99 car back, or is it mostly just focusing on the 00 this year?
There's no plans for the 99 at the moment. We've talked about it. We kind of thought about bringing one out for Daytona, but the folks up there in New Jersey really want to focus on the 00 car, and I'm fine with that. I think that it really can kind of concentrate our efforts and give us the best chance to succeed. So for now, it's just the 00.
Excellent. And you've been in the professional racing, the highest level now for 10 years. So how have you changed and developed over time?
The biggest changes that I've seen at the Cup level has just been in engineering and the simulation tools that these teams use. The tools that probably even the lower end technical alliance teams, like Front Row Motorsports or someone like that's purchasing technology from someone else. The technology that those teams are using is probably better than the technology that we worked with when I was a Hendrick and testing for the 4018. So, these teams have gotten really, really good at being able to predict what the car needs and what it's going to do. And it's put more emphasis on building the fastest possible car. And because a lot of times by the time you get to the racetrack, the car handles as good as it's going to be.
So the way I understand it, it's basically the technology is just growing so rapidly that sponsorship is a huge issue because of that. Like you were saying, that just the cost of the sport is quite immense, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty expensive to be able to manage all of that technology and all of those tools. It requires a number of engineers. And so it definitely drives the cost up pretty quickly. I think that's why you see the owners of the charter teams in NASCAR are kind of getting together with each other and figuring out how to cut where they need to be cutting costs, because there's definitely parts of the sport where they're spending money against each other and it's really not providing too much value other than just making the cars go a little bit faster. So I think that the owners in NASCAR are probably going to find a way to concede some certain areas so that they don't have to send each other into oblivion.
Exactly. And so far in the season, you've had, 3 races? You had the 2 the major races, and then, of course, the dual race where you led a lap for the race.
Yeah. So we haven't had the best of luck yet for our 2 points races, but the season's just getting started, and we were happy with our speed in Atlanta. So, we gotta put together a consistent season. We've and minimize failures, minimize mistakes on my part, and just kind of focus on ourselves week in and week out.
Well, with the next 2 upcoming races, you got Las Vegas and you got Arizona. What are the major differences between those 2?
The biggest difference is going to be the horsepower between the 2. I mean, our cars in Phoenix are going to have 200 more horsepower than our cars in Las Vegas. So we won't learn much in Vegas about what we're going to do in Phoenix. Maybe a few minor things, but they're going to be 2 completely different animals.
Excellent. So what makes Phoenix so unique, like you said, with the horsepower and some of the other changes?
It's just a completely different track. It's a short track. You're going to use a lot of braking. We're going to be back to 750 horsepower. The downforce at Phoenix is going to be different than what we had last year, although it's similar downforce to what we're having in Vegas. So that is similar there, but the engines are going to make a big difference for sure. And that's throttle response is what you feel in the seat of the car.
Obviously, with this season, it's quite, like you said, the main thing, you're focusing on consistency. What's your off season like? What type of things do you get into during that?
Just spending as much time as I can with my family and get myself prepared for the race season, get all the things in order that I need to get done. Start training for the race season, and just make sure I'm physically and mentally ready.
So what is your training process like? Is it, how much of it is physical, how much of it is mental, and what type of activities do you do as part of that training?
I do a lot of mostly endurance sports. Train for triathlon are what I like to do, and that gets me. I feel like our sport, driving race cars, is an endurance sport. So when I do long distance triathlon, I feel like it gets me in the best shape to drive.
Do you ever do any of those? What are those warrior type courses or anything like that, or American Ninja stuff? You all seem like pretty.
No, I've heard like the Spartan race and stuff like that. I've heard of those, but I've never done one.
Yeah, because the way I understand it, they'll even host some of those at some of the racetracks. So that'd be kind of an interesting. You do it one time, obviously in the car, and you do it one time out of the car, that kind of thing.
Do like a NASCAR inspired Spartan race or something.
Ooh, that would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
So with that, tell us some of the things you and Derek have been working on, some of the things he's been coaching you up with.
I mean, I feel like we've worked together on just trying to assemble the right chemistry with our guys and the right crew. You know, we've had personnel changes as a team, and it's just a matter of trying to find the right chemistry with everybody. I mean, I think that's one of the challenges of starting a team from scratch. You know, Starcom Racing didn't purchase a team. They didn't purchase an existing team that came with employees or anything. This was started from the bottom up.
So with that, finding the employees, I know in other sports there's free agency, but with NASCAR, is it different?
A lot of it is word of mouth. I mean, and just the relationships. It's a pretty tight garage. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and there's a lot of people that look out for each other too. So it's easy to find someone that's looking for work, and you know, it's just a matter of getting them in the right place. You know, having people. Somebody might have been discarded from one team, and they might have been in the wrong position at the team that they were in. So, you know, we kind of take people on and evaluate what they're good at and where they need to be, how they can succeed personally and professionally, and that's really where you want to put someone.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, exactly. So it's all about, like you said, it's about trying to find the right spot, the right way for them to succeed and to be able to take that next step, to be able to grow and to develop the team. With that,
yeah.
Anything in particular, any events that you're going to be doing in either Las Vegas or Arizona for the fans?
I think I'm not sure what we have planned for Vegas and Arizona. I know that we've been talking to some partners that were on board in Daytona. I know Manscaped was a company that was on our car in Daytona, and they've been looking at doing some West Coast races with us. So hopefully I'll get to see them out there and engage with the fans through them.
Excellent. Sounds great. Before I let you go, of course, you know, tell us about some of your sponsors and then, of course, social media.
Yeah. Well, you know, our sponsor in Daytona was Permatex, which was really cool. They're, you know, an automotive brand that has been around for a long time, and they've been in the sport decades and decades ago, but they returned to NASCAR on our car in Daytona. And so, you know, if you're a car guy or someone that's doing anything automotive related, you've probably dealt with Permatex products and you know what they are. So it was cool to see them on the car. And, you know, on social media, I'm definitely active on Twitter and Instagram. My name is Landon Cassill on there. And I've also got a Facebook fan page as well.
Sounds great. Thank you for joining us, Landon. Landon, of course, is with Starcom Racing. He's got Las Vegas coming up on March 3rd, and he's got Arizona coming up on March 10th. We wish you the best of luck.
You got it. Thanks.